What's up? This is DJ Loot. Decided to take another break from the studio, come out here to the river, the American River here in Sacramento, and hang out with the artist formerly known as Riot Craig. What are you going by now?
Wise Peasant.
Wise Peasant. We're going to have a great Q&A, and hope you all enjoy.
So, it's an idea that I've been toying with for quite some time, due to a couple reasons. One, the growth on my social media as Riot Craig has seemingly been nerfed. For years and years, it was just a steady upward trend, and now the last 3 or 4 years, basically since COVID, been no growth, zero, unable to grow, and I feel like the profile has been thrown into a into a lockbox where it just can't grow. So I said, okay, that's one reason we could start over. That's, a deciding factor. It's like, okay, well, we're not growing, so we might as well try something else. And on top of that, Riot Craig was a name that was birthed during a blackout session of tequila in public, and I haven't had a drink in 8 years. So I've kind of outgrown that, and it seems like, the ideas that I'm trying to put forward, they don't really match that energy of being a raging alcoholic. So I feel like the rebrand is to
Your rebrand, like you said, it fits a new you, or an evolved, and sometimes that's really necessary. Some folks do it just to do it, but it's going to benefit you 100%.
Yeah, I just think it's more on brand with the ideas that I'm putting forward.
Of course.
We're talking, some people will call it conspiracy, but really, to me, it's, truth. If you've done your reading, you'll see that a lot of these ideas are actually true. They're actually historically factual. And, the idea that we're being, poisoned with our food and poisoned with our medication and all these other crazy happenings that have gone on and all these kind of things. I'd like to put content out that sheds light on that for people versus, I guess the other stuff I was doing was a little just more angry. I don't know. So yeah, just I feel like it's opened a new door of creativity for myself that I didn't have before.
And the old stuff will still be there, but
of course
you have a new.
It's like joining another band.
Of course,
it's like I'm a one-man band. It's like I've joined another band with different content. Just like anytime you've ever seen a guy in one band that you like join a different band, it's not the same. It's going to be different, but there's going to be elements of what you like as well. So
absolutely,
that's where we're at with that. So yeah, to continue down this road a little bit, I've just grown as a person from somebody who was really, I guess you would say maybe pigeonholed by substance abuse issues and other things like that. Now it's more of like, okay, there is a message to get out. I kind of have a loose idea of what I want to do. Whereas before it was just, oh, this sounds cool, so let me just put that out. There was no real direction as far as, who might like this, as far as targeting a demographic of people to get the product to. Essentially you're making a product. Okay, well, the product's not for everybody. We know this. Okay, anybody's product is not for everybody. That's just not how it goes. So before it was just kind of like, oh, I'll shoot it over here and then shoot it over here and shoot it over here as far as content direction goes. And now I have okay, I have a target audience that I'm going to specifically go after. And that's been the biggest change, really. And it's not like I'm pandering. It's just like, this is the niche and this is what I'm going to attack. So
you're going to be a better artist and more satisfied with your product, obviously. You're doing the things that, figuring out your delivery and how to be an artist. Now you get to present the most authentic stuff that you can present.
And it's
a winning formula.
It's only taken 15 years.
500 years. Hey, but that's fine.
And that's something I would like to put out there to any artists who might be listening to this. It's like, hey, don't be afraid to take chances. So what? You know what I mean? Like an idea that you had didn't work. Okay, move on to the next one. It's all right. It's like this is it's an experimentation, along with the art. As far as on the business side of things go. Like nobody knows. The people that make a hit song oftentimes don't know that that's going to be the hit. They just keep making the music that they're making, and something just caught the momentum of the audience, and it just goes viral. Like you can't just plan to go viral. You just keep making stuff, and things either go viral or they don't. In that regard, I'm not really talking from experience. I haven't had anything go viral, but from what I understand, from what I've studied, you just have to keep doing it, and then eventually something you do will catch fire, or it won't, and that's okay. We're just having fun. So I'd say the biggest influence is just the world. I believe I have what's called hypervigilance. I can't not pay attention. Everything I come in contact with, I'm looking at, studying why. Why is that billboard? Who paid for that billboard? You know what I mean? Whatever. It doesn't matter. So anything and everything, mostly just how the world works, or at least how I perceive it to work. There would be people that would listen to what I have to say and completely disagree, and that's okay. We all think different things, and that's totally okay. But yeah, I would say the world around me, I would say the system / government / the machine, the media, I would say, pharmaceutical companies. I mean, like all these kind of things that I've learned about that I am frankly disgusted with. These are pieces of fuel for the fire, because I think these ideas need to get out there, and if I can express these ideas in the form of this art, then that's some of my biggest influence. Battling drug addiction, another one. I've battled it, still battling it off and on. We got 2 years completely sober off of hard drugs now, but it's not something that you just turn off. It's something that you have to be cognizant of, and make sure that you're positioning yourself to win versus slipping back into old ways. So I would say that's another big influence. It's just the trials and tribulations of life, currently those are the biggest influences: drug addiction and the system.
And those are major ones. Recently, even my radio show this past week, guest talking about his recovery, and I see a lot of people on Facebook on the timeline. I'm this many years clean, and from their perspective, it's like the struggle's never over, of course, but the progress being made. I see so many good life changes for a lot of people that I care about.
So people that have been in the community out here, the music community out here. I've seen so many people get their 3-year sober chips and all that good stuff. And when I look back to the blue lamp days, and everyone's just completely trashed, completely drugged out, and now I see some of these guys completely present with their children and sober, and it makes me so happy. So one of my favorite rappers of all time, his name is Wildcard. I love this dude to death. He's got, speaking of addiction, a hell of a comeback story. I'll tell this story as quickly as possible. I bought a verse off of him, and I didn't know that he was on a bender, basically, and he took my money, and I didn't hear from him for I think 3 years. And I had asked around to a bunch of people that I knew that knew him, and was just concerned. It's like at this point I don't really care about that money. I just care that he's like okay. This is like one of the greatest talents I've ever come across in my life, and a big inspiration. Lyrically and flow-wise, like the guy's just a beast. And then he got sober, got his life back together, got me the verse, and we made a song, and it's called Vacation to Hell, and it's on my Acid Headband album. and to me that's my favorite collaboration. I also got a song with the Philharmonic that did pretty well called Boys in Blue, and it's about police brutality. Those are my top two. The wild card collab, just because it took years to actually happen, and he made right by his word eventually. And
probably
to be honest,
a better product now. That
it was way better, because
would have been.
If I would have recorded that back when I paid for it, I wasn't nearly as good. And then by the time we ended up recording, I was a little bit more on the level, and it came out beautifully. But yeah, as far as I'm looking to collaborate, I need to find an acoustic guitar player. I would like to do. I'm going to do a bunch of work this year, and I would like to make an acoustic album out of all of my work that I've done with somebody. So that's kind of that's what I got my eye on currently. I'm scouring the internet for people that are talented with the acoustic. Whether you agree or disagree with the content, I strive to provoke thinking. You know, I don't want everybody. If the whole world thought like me, we'd probably live in a toxic wasteland. You know, but so I don't need you to think like me. I just need you to think. Like, the whole idea is to provoke thinking. You know, like, hey, that sounded crazy. Maybe I should look and see if that's real. You know, like that's mostly, if anything, like that's the biggest thing. Just think. I want you to be curious about what I'm saying. And I try to present the material in a way that can produce that kind of reaction. So as far as projects go, I have currently 4 singles that we're tightening the bolts on. Some are closer to being done than others, and I'm only going to do singles this year. And at the end of the year, I'll put them all together for a whole album. But at this point in time, I'm looking around. People are not listening to full albums. They're just not doing it. It's done. Maybe it'll come back. You know, like we've seen a resurgence in vinyl records. You know, people will go buy vinyl records. It's huge. They're doing very well with vinyl records, to the point where Walmart is selling vinyl records. You know, it's pretty crazy. So I'm not going to say that albums will never make a comeback. I just think right now that people's attention span has been cooked into such a microwave that we want, you know, a lot of rappers are putting out a minute and 30-second songs.
Oh yeah, first hook, or
and
first
that's
hook.
it. And so I'm kind of following that trend, to be honest, because there's no, what's the point of writing a third verse if people's attention span is only good for 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes? Why would I make a 4-minute long song? Unless, of course, there's multiple people on it and you gotta squeeze them all in. But as far as solo content is concerned, I'm going for that 90-second to 2-minute mark on every single piece. Also, for other musicians listening, I was just talking to a fellow traveler of this road last night, and he made a good point that Instagram Reels go up to 90 seconds. So, if your songs are 90 seconds long, you can put your whole video onto a reel. That's where everybody's at. People go onto iTunes or YouTube or whatever, secondary for the most part. Maybe not so much YouTube, but iTunes and Spotify, secondary. They're always on Instagram. Always. Or, same with Facebook. You can do Facebook Reels. It's the same exact thing. So, yeah, any artists listening, go ahead and let that thing bounce around in your head for a little bit. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm going with this year. We're going to just do a bunch of singles. They're going to be short and sweet. I'm not going to take too much of your time. And then at the end, I will do a wrap up with all of them in an album, and hopefully an acoustic album with all of those songs as well, done acoustically, unplugged, if you will. Going into 2025, listen guys, there's going to be a lot of BS. There's going to be a lot of craziness that is thrown at you and us as a collective via the news and the internet. And you know, what's most important is your health, your family's health, your relationships amongst your people. The rest of it is just noise. So if I can impart any bit of wisdom, it would be just to focus on self, family, health, wealth, wellness, and just do your best. That's it. That's all.
Perfectly said. Oh, I was
This one.
I never knew the strength I had within. I never knew the power of my own hand. I never knew the strength I had within. I never knew the power of my own hand.